and greetings, my friends. Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review, and today we're up at one of our favorite camping spots, and basically we're just going to be doing some work around the camp. I figured I'd record it. Some of you guys may find it interesting, some may not. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to be building a fire pit out of rocks. We're going to do a little bit of digging, but yeah, it's going to be a good day. It's beautiful weather. It's about 40 degrees. Awesome. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll get started here and we'll have a good time. Okay guys, so the first thing that we're going to do is basically we're going to clean up this mess here, and then we're going to dig a hole. And I'm not going to make it too deep because I never have a really large fire in the first place. And plus the deeper you make your hole, the harder it is actually to build your fire in it. So I'll dig down maybe 4 inches, something like that. And I'll make it a pretty good size hole, and then I'll start laying the rock around that hole. So I'm just going to clean up around here and start digging. One thing you should think about when you're digging your hole for your fire ring, for your fire pit, is where everybody's going to be sitting. So if you're going to be coming up here by yourself, if it's a solo sort of environment, you know, you need to think about where you're going to sit most of the time, and then place your pit accordingly. If you're going to have others with you, where are they going to sit? Just something to think about, something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm going to start digging now. And like I said, I don't really need to dig a big hole. A small hole will do just fine. Alright, we've got a pretty good hole right now. It's probably about 7 to 8 inches deep. It's a little bit deeper than what I'm going for right now, but I gotta fill that in later. The ground's pretty soft, pretty easy digging right now, so that's really good. But I like the depth, so right now I'm just gonna focus on making it a little bit bigger. One thing you guys could do when digging your hole for your fire pit is take a piece of firewood, about the average length that you would usually cut it, and place it in the hole. That'll give you a pretty good idea of how much bigger you need it, or if you happen to dug your hole too big. This is pretty nice. I can TP this pretty good, stack it up, have a nice good fire. I'll probably extend this ring out some without worrying about going too deep. Yeah, we're almost there. Today I'm using my UTG courier bag, and basically I just got my water in it, got some snacks, got some work gloves, and pretty handy when you don't have much to carry. You got a knife in here. Alright, okay, now that our hole looks pretty good, we're going to head over here to the creek and just start hauling rocks back and forth. And we're going to definitely get longer, wider rocks for the base, and then kind of build on top of those. I'm not going to worry about dragging the camera back and forth. I'm just going to leave it stationary so I can get this done pretty quick. One thing I love about making these fire pits is that everyone's different, everyone's unique, and plus I love rocks. I love doing rock work. So you could really do a lot of really cool things around your camp. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now, instead of just having a fire built on the ground. And what a better day to do it. Oh yeah. Okay. These are the Marmot leather work gloves. They are awesome. They're not waterproof, but for your average, everyday sort of work around your camp, and they are tops. Okay. Good start. Okay. I'll set that one to the side for later. one thing to keep in mind when you're getting your rocks for your fire pit is that there's many different ways to do it. Some people will use big old fat rocks for their ring. I personally like flat box rocks on the bottom, and I like taking bigger rocks and putting them on top. Okay. All right. Now we've got a pretty good base of rocks here, so now comes the second level. And you can do this any way you want to. I kind of like to alternate. So if I have a rock here and a rock here, I'll put it in the middle, overlapping the crack, the space in between. All right. Guys, this is a nice fire pit already. Once I get all the rocks laid down the way that I want them, I'll probably come back through with my shovel. I'm gonna make this just a little bit wider, kind of match up with the edges of the rocks themselves. I want to make sure that I'm making this pretty stable. If you use pretty flat rocks, you're able to stack them on top of each other without the worry of them caving in onto your fire. I'm the type of guy who likes to sit back, kick my feet up, you know, if it's cold and my socks are wet or damp, take the shoes off, have them dry right next to the fire. So it's definitely coming together though. Okay, so now we got our second layer on here. And when I'm finished, I'll zoom in and show you guys how I really done this. Hopefully you can see it fairly well from where the camera's at right now. But we have our second layer. I think I'm gonna put one more on there and call it quits. Now, if you find yourself in a situation like I am, where I have to travel about 100 yards to get rocks and then come back. I didn't bring them with me this time, but I should have. 2 5-gallon buckets are your friend when you're making a fire pit. You can load them up evenly with the, whatever amount of rocks that you can handle. Super easy to walk around, carry your 5-gallon buckets of rocks. I would definitely be done by now if I'd actually brought them with me. All right. We're not completely finished yet with getting our rock for our fire pit, but one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build up from here all the way around to about here, and we'll build up that side a little bit higher than this side here. Normally I come camping and whatever by myself. I kind of like going solo, so I'll leave this side smaller, make this side higher, and that'll reflect some of that heat back to me. Of course, when you go to make your own fire pit, you'll make it the way that you need it. So yours might be even, it might be high up on one side. That's completely up to you. I'll tell you what, if you want to get your blood pumping, all you gotta do, start carrying around some heavy ass rocks. Excellent. Let's see. Maybe that works for that. And that works for that. All right, we've got a pretty sick little fire pit right here. And it's the perfect distance from where I'm sitting to where the fire would be. So yeah, this absolutely turned out well. I still need to take the shovel, kind of go along the perimeter and kind of sink that in a little bit. But yeah, this is a nice little fire pit. Once I get some water, I'll show you guys the hole and the rocks and how I did it. Oh man, it's good. And like I said before, the way that you do your fire pit will more than likely be different than mine. Everybody has a different eye for detail and a different way of doing things. One thing that you should take heed of when you're building a fire pit or having rocks in the vicinity of a fire is make sure not to use porous rock. If the rock has any moisture in it whatsoever, it'll heat up and it'll explode just like a grenade going off. So definitely something to be careful about. Okay guys, take a look at our fire pit. Looks pretty good, don't it? I'm gonna zoom over here. Okay. You can see here on this side, hopefully you can see it, you might not be able to, but I only did maybe 2 to 3 rocks level deep along this side. And I use mostly flat rocks because I don't want this side to be up too high because I want that heat to come towards me. So I build it up along this side and over here, and that will help reflect some of that heat this direction. What's nice about this is that I can easily change that if I need to. If I decide that I need to be sitting on that side for whatever reason, maybe the wind's blowing the smoke in my face, I can easily take off a couple of those rocks, put them on this side right here, and just reverse basically what I've done. So it's nice and simple, very simple fire pit, but I think it looks pretty good. Maybe you could see that there, the difference, how flat this is compared to back there. But yeah, it's pretty good. You can see the hole down here, which I'm gonna fill some of that back in with the dirt that I shovel off from around here. And that'll help make this just a little bit bigger, fill in this hole just a little bit because I don't need it that deep. So, you know, I'm very lucky that the ground is pretty soft. It's not frozen. It should be for this time of year, but it's not, and that's okay. So now, basically what I'm doing, I'm just taking down some of that excess dirt on the sides, making this just a little bit wider of a hole. Let you guys take a look at that one more time before we get out of here. Not too shabby. And you can see the distance from usually where I sit. So, yeah, I could stay nice, toasty warm right there. And if I wanted to, I can always grab a couple really big rocks and build them up here and make another seat for somebody else. I could also do that over there if I wanted to. Somebody could even sit here if they want to. So, yeah, it's set up for going solo or having others out here with me. Yeah, guys, that looks pretty dang sharp. That didn't take too long to make either. I would say maybe 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. At the most, an hour. The longest part is just trekking back and forth, grabbing these rocks from the creek. If you decide to make a fire pit of your own, and you have to travel a good distance like I do, save yourself a ton of time and a ton of energy by, like I said, grabbing some 5-gallon buckets and just filling them up evenly. And then, you know, and of course get a weight that you can actually handle. Don't hurt yourself. And but that'll save you tons and tons of time. I wish I thought about that when I was actually coming back up here. Oh well, that's how it goes, right? Wow, what an amazing day. It's about 40 degrees. Been working hard, so I'm not too cold at the moment. Of course, winter is still here, even though today's the official day of spring. We got another winter storms coming in tonight, a little bit of peace on Friday, and then they say about a whole week of just like rain and snow. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully, if we get a good snow, I'll pop out a 4-season tent. We'll come out here and do a little camp out. We'll do that if it's snowing. I'm not going to mess around with that rain. It's such a pain in the butt. Well, I guess I'm pretty much done here for now. I've got a good supply of firewood. There's always work to do around the campsite. One thing I intend to do is basically come up here with a rake and really rake back all the leaves and all the twigs and stuff. Sorry. And basically just rake it back about 20-30 feet and all the way around my campsite. And that's just an extra precaution of stopping embers from flying off and starting fires. Of course, we got years worth of leaves on the ground here, and there has already been forest fires around this area just within the last couple of weeks. So yeah, just as an extra precaution, rake all the leaves and stuff up, and plus it'll help it make it look pretty good. Nothing wrong with that, right? So before I end this video, I'll take you guys for a little hike down the hill here, and it's another one of my camping spots that I made, and I'll just show you guys the rock work and stuff I did there. I was pretty lucky. I was able to get a bunch of rocks from a job site that they weren't going to use anymore, and because my father, he does construction, so he has access to all the leftovers or the imperfects, stuff like that. So I was able to make a bunch of, like, seats, benches, and stuff like that. It's pretty nice. I don't have the strength or the energy to haul those type of rocks up here, though. You'll see what I mean. They're freaking mongo. But all right, let's go for a little hike. Also, guys, before we start hiking down the mountain here, just show you guys this a little bit close up. The UTG courier bag or messenger bag. I really like this thing, and I like it for when I'm going on pretty short hikes. Maybe just a couple hours. Something where I just need maybe a liter of water and some snacks and stuff like this. It has plenty of room. It's got plenty of pockets in this thing. I mean, you got a pocket here for a water bottle. It'd have to be a pretty skinny one. It definitely wouldn't hold like a big mouth Nalgene bottle or anything like that. But yeah, you could definitely make it work. It's got a front pocket here. You could easily carry a knife in here, some fire starter. Even a stove if you needed to. You could definitely, if you carry and conceal like I do, you can carry your gun in there if that's what you want to do. You got a side pocket. It's very comfortable though. It's got pretty ample padding on the side. It breathes well, stuff like that. I don't remember the model name or number on this, but yeah, super cheap. I don't know, 50 bucks it seems like. Okay, we'll grab our shovel here. Make sure we didn't leave nothing. No, looks pretty good to me. This is our second campsite that I was talking about that I want to show you guys. Take a look here. Got a lot of wood processed, ready to burn. But here are some of these benches that I was talking about. Pretty sick. You can see, yeah, those things are monster. I basically had to roll them up here, one end over end. But nice little fire pit here. Did a rock base around the bottom as well. Looks sharp. Definitely a nice little spot. But it's not as secluded as the other. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I know it's not the most exciting episode ever, but it was a pretty good one, I hope. Maybe you guys learned something, maybe just enjoyed watching, I don't know. But thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. You guys take care.